It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. A few more moments to revel in Venom. Of course, a new movie release coming out tomorrow, Let There Be Carnage, the latest in the Venom kind of trilogy or saga, but we are focusing on this incredible character now because we love him. He's been an important part of the Spider-Man universe and is loosely based on science. Loosely, I say. We're continuing our conversation now with Grant Hines on the character, looking at a little bit of the science behind, and lore perhaps, behind symbiotes. Symbiotes.
I've heard people say symbiote, but like I call it symbiote. I grew up in the 90s. The cartoon was like my big draw card into the series. That's why Venom is my favorite character, and it's who it is. So like in the comic books originally, Eddie Brock becomes Venom because he is a failed photographer. His life is on the edge, and he goes into a church to like ask for forgiveness and gets given this. The symbiote finds him there and bonds with him. The symbiotes it's like this goo. It's from another planet and it's sentient. It's got a personality of its own. That's why it might be confusing if you watch the trailer, like from the Venom trailer. Venom's having a conversation with Eddie Brock.
He's a consciousness.
Because he's sentient. Yeah. He's got his own being. And what he does is he bonds with you, but not just physically, but also psychologically. So he starts drawing on your strengths and your weaknesses and starts turning you like a parasite in a host, which is really interesting. So that's what symbiotes are. And in the comic books, naturally, there are way more. That's why Carnage is in this movie, because Carnage is one of the most powerful symbiotes because he binds with a psychopath.
Obviously all of those traits get amplified, and with free reign to just be and do without restrictions, hence Carnage.
But the idea of symbiotes doesn't come from nowhere. It's actually, in real life, we've got a whole bunch of different kinds of creatures. So what you're seeing on screen right now is a snail, and it's actually infected with something called a leucochlorodium worm, which what it does is it takes over the host. They actually eat bird poop. It takes over the host and then controls their mind. Then their eyes look like worms, and they have to climb all the way to it forces the snail to climb to the top of a tree, get eaten, and then the cycle begins again. So it's in a similar way, like the symbiotes control the minds of the people and then discard them. Which is really crazy. And that's real. Like, how weird is that? That's a real thing that happens in the real world, which is wilder than in the comic books. Yeah. And then the next one, there's...
That is crazy.
Okay.
Oh, there's the bird poop. I was waiting for the bird poop. Then he's going to eat the bird poop.
Yeah, that's... Okay, the second one
Run, snail, run! Oh, shame that snail's too slow to get away.
The second one is, it's this cloaking bacteria that exists in certain kinds of squid. And it uses bioluminescence to disguise itself, or at least protect it from being attacked from, being seen above. I think this is technology that maybe we could use in surfing.
Yeah,
but what happens is, at night, squid generally hunt. This bioluminescence, this bacteria, sentient bacteria, well, it's a different creature, lights the underside of the squid so that when predators from underneath the squid see it, they don't see the squid. It looks like moonlight, so it kind of blends in with the moonlight. Wow. So it keeps the squid alive, but at the same time leeching off of the squid, which is
the life force of the squid.
I think it's less. But
they're both surviving as a result.
Eddie Brock is taken over by the symbiote, and becomes Venom and becomes super strong, and then that strength is used for Eddie Brock's. To help Eddie Brock, he asks him what he needs. So in a similar way, we see a lot of that kind of stuff happening in the real world.
But it doesn't always end well for the host.
No. So that's the thing. So you get bio kids, if you guys are doing. So you get parasitic relationships and symbiotic relationships. Parasitic means that the creature that's living off of the host will be detrimental to the host.
It's literally doing that. It's living off you. It's taking your life force.
Disguised for the host. A symbiotic relationship is two different creatures that are working together. So they will benefit by a collaboration. That's the difference between a parasite and a symbiotic relationship. So the big thing that Eddie Brock is dabbling with in the film is is he in a parasitic relationship or is he in a symbiotic relationship? And can he make the parasitic relationship symbiotic? We'll see. But hope you remember that for school and get yourself
Yeah,
an
and a great
trick
science
finals
lesson
coming.
there as well. Just remember that Venom was willing to give his life ultimately for Eddie Brock at the end. So I think there's an emotional attachment there. They're taking the next step. We absolutely love it. Love the fact that he is also a vulnerable hero. He's not all-powerful, which means he's going to have his work cut out for him when he meets Carnage.
Oh,
and
yeah.
of course,
Carnage is strong.
Carnage is strong
Very
and
strong.
unrestricted with the mind of a psychopath. Either way, it's going to be awesome viewing, and you can catch it in South African cinemas from tomorrow. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I'm going to send a very special message now quickly to JP Sebastian, who in 6 hours' time is going to watch Dune, which is just absolutely amazing. So do enjoy that. I know how much he's going to savor that moment. I cannot wait to see it as well. Brilliant movies back in the cinema, because the cinema is back. But that was awesome. Thank you so much.